Hey, welcome back to MVP Hot Wheels. This is Diesel Mac, and you can see I got the Cobras from the 5-pack and the Hot Wheels newsletter that has all the different Cobra variations, and then some, I think. Also kind of missing a couple of them, I believe. Kind of interesting how they went overboard on some stuff and not necessarily picked up all of them on some of the other variations. But we'll get into some of those later. Right now, we'll talk about these from the 60s Muscle Car 5-pack, which is where you could find each one of these. I got 5 different variations, which is also what the Hot Wheels newsletter has. So all 5 that I know of. There could be some differences or another variation that's potentially out there. So let's kind of get into some of these differences, some of these variations. All right, one of the common ones here, you got a black plastic base. During this time when this was out, the Roaring Rods, I believe, was also coming out, and you could get a bunch of different metal bases in a dark tint or a regular metal, or unpainted metal, or black unpainted metal, or metal flake black painted metal. So there's lots of different metal bases that were available. I've not seen that on any of these, but that is a potential variation that could exist where you could find one of these with a metal base. But all of the ones that I have a plastic base, and they're all made in Malaysia. 7 spokes is the common wheel that you're going to see on most of these, and the tan interior as well. This is the darker metal flake red, a little bit different than this more of a pearl metal flake red that they have here. And this isn't the first car they've done this on. In fact, I got an example here on another Ford. So on their T-Bird race car here, you can see they did the same thing. They got this metal flake red and this pearl metal flake on a variation of it as well. So not the first one to do this. It's a little bit different than that. You can see a little bit different tone in that, but not too much. But anyways, back to the Cobra. So clear window on that. The engines aren't painted, so you can see that there. I don't open it too much because it chips the front of the hoods. And then you get a white rectangle with the red Hot Wheels logo, and that could be different on these as well. Moving on to the next one, everything is the same except for the 5-spoke. The 5-spoke is a tough variation to find. Not really sure why, maybe just the timing of it. 7-spoke was the first of these newer wheels to come out, and then the 5-spoke followed shortly after, so that could have something to do with it. They added it to the end of the run or something like that. But everything else is the same, including the Hot Wheels logo. You could possibly find this with the gold and black Hot Wheels logo, which I'll show you on the next one, or yep, on the next one. So that's a possibility, and again, highly doubtful, but you could also find it potentially with a metal base, as like I said, the Roaring Rod stuff was coming out, and they certainly had metal bases on the 5-spoke with the Roaring Rod, so I think it's a possibility that could exist as well. All right, so everything about this one is the same as the first one. The metal flake dark red, and the 7 spokes, clear window, but now you get a gold rectangle with the black Hot Wheels logo. So here's the difference between the two. So that is the minor variation between these two. Both of them I feel like are pretty common. It's hit or miss on what you're going to get in the 5-pack. It's hard to see, especially people aren't going to be posting pictures of the back of the car on eBay and stuff like that, so it's tough to know which one you're going to get. But I think both of them are relatively about the same. If it's not 50-50, it could be 47-53. I don't know what the difference is, but it's fairly close. Then we have the other tough one with black interior. I have never tried to remove an interior out of the Cobra before, so I was thinking about seeing what that would entail. I do have a filler piece that I had there for a while. We may try it on that one just to see how that goes, just to see how easily it would be to fake this without removing the base, but we'll do that in a different video. So, but this is the black interior. You still get the clear window, and this so far I've only seen with the black and gold on the back. So possibility that there could be one with the red and white. Could find 5-spoke with black interior, probably be extremely rare if that was the case, and then anything with a metal base, obviously. All right, and then you get the pearl metal flake red. So definitely a different color on these two here. You can kind of see that there. Why they did two different colors, I don't know. If it was just this car, I would say that it was probably, you know, a mix up in the paint department, and they added, you know, a color too soon to a you know, another container that had the color already in here. But since there's other cars, looks like it was probably designed to do that. So for whatever reason, they changed from, you know, the dark red to this pearl red. Tan interior, clear window, 7 spokes, and this one has the earlier, I say earlier, red and white Hot Wheels logo on it. So maybe it was the earlier run, maybe it went over here and that was the first one run, and they decided they didn't like the color, or they ran out of the color and it was expensive. Who knows? There's lots of different ways that this could go. But then, you know, it transitioned into the dark red, or it transitioned, you know, from the dark red to this. Hard to say. So, goodness. But, like I said, there's potential for lots of different variations available. In the book as well, or the guide, you can see here, those are the same 5 variations. It does say that this one here is the same as the one above it, but the one above it has the red and white Hot Wheels logo. Mine has the oh, it does have the red and white. Never mind. I was thinking the reverse. So mine is exactly the same as what's in the Hot Wheels newsletter, and you can kind of see there's their picture of the different Hot Wheels logos there as well. So here is that Roaring Rods, right? So you've got a bunch of mostly 7 spokes and then a bunch of different bases. You've got this tough 5 spoke sitting here. There is also, I believe, a clear window. There you go, clear window there. So lots of different variations, but I've talked to a couple, like I said, a couple of different Cobra specific collectors, and not all of those seem to exist. Enough of them to say that it's a variation. We'll go kind of like that. Some of the things I was talking about on the different variations that aren't in here. So up here you see the 2 US Real Riders. There's one with Hong Kong. I have a Malaysia base with Real Riders on the way here now, so they're missing that Malaysia base. And then there's also known is a black wall with the chrome trim around the windshield. So that one's not on here. So kind of curious. They kind of, like I said, I think they missed a few on some areas, and then kind of went overboard on others. I don't know. But when I do my Roaring Rods, I'll show you what I've found so far. And when I do the blue early first run of the Cobra, I'll show you the variations that I have. I don't have the chrome tinted or chrome trim window one. That one is extremely rare. You know, any info on that would be pretty cool. I'm not sure. I'm sure they tried it in the beginning, and right, they had something that was stamping the trim around the windshield, but it was probably, you know, the extra step, which costs, you know, it has an extra value or dollar amount to make it. And they said, oh, we could cut costs by not putting this on there. And then, you know, from there on, they didn't put it on there until they got to some of the more special editions and premium stuff down the line. But anyhow, so here is the 5 variations. If you have something else, something different, post that down in the comments below. I'd love to see what other people have found. There's lots of these 50s or 60s muscle 5-packs still out there, still closed up. So plenty of these to go around. Like I said, the black interior and the 5-spoke one are the 2 toughest ones. The other 3 fairly easy to get. It's just kind of a pain because you might not know which, you know, license or a Hot Wheels logo you're going to get on the rear there. But hope you guys are enjoying the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to join us on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern for the giveaway for hitting the 750 subscribers. And like I said, we're working our way to the 1,000 subscribers. So again, appreciate everybody's support, and I hope to see you on Sunday. Thanks, and bye.